podcast Knocker here. So if I tell you a little story about the time a bunch of road racers all got together and decided to go try this new sport called paintball. Now, anybody nowadays, if you look at paintball, you think of, you know, those guys with the big hoppers that hold 200 pellets, and they basically just spray pellets up and down the field. And in a lot of cases, they just look like a, you know, a football or a soccer field, and it just keeps spraying pellets back and forth until the person gets hit and gets taken out. But when I did a couple paintball games with my racing buddies, they handed you this weird looking little pistol, which apparently is what the loggers use to mark trees to say that they're to be cut down. And it held like 8 or 10 pellets, and you had to manually rack it between shots. Like it had a CO2 cartridge inside, but which would last about one game. But you know, you run around with a basically sort of the musket of paintball guns. And the field was actually a ravine out in the middle of nowhere. And so what happened was I got hijacked into the game because a couple of guys, you had to have 12 people to have a team, and a couple of guys couldn't make it, and they came and started hounding me to get them to come enjoy their game. I really didn't have any interest in it, but they knew I could actually shoot real guns, so they figured it'd be like a real advantage. And it's like, oh, you know, it'll be fun. It's like, anyways, they kept at it. Eventually, it was sort of one of those things like, okay, yeah, whatever. Okay, I'll go play. So we didn't know a lot about paintball, other than just a few guys warned us to wear long sleeves because they hurt if you get hit. So we drove out to this field out in the middle of nowhere, and one of the guys who I raced with, who was not a great racer. Like as a racer, he was pretty scary because he was all over the track. And we got into his van. A whole bunch of us got into the van, and we learned that's how he drives in the street too, with a van. So we were pretty wondering what it's going to all die in a van on the way out there. But you know, surprisingly, we got there and got out, and they got us the gear and explained safety. Nowadays you watch them wearing full helmets and face masks and whatnot. They just handed us a pair of safety glasses you'd give somebody in a machine shop and say, okay, don't shoot anybody in the face. That was the only real rule. You can shoot people anywhere you wanted, but you couldn't shoot them in the face or the head. So they put us up against another team of 12, and it was basically capture the flag. You know, you either kill everybody or you capture the flag. So we were all standing there, and I went, okay, so what's the plan? The horn went off, and I looked around, and everybody was gone. Our guys just went running like a bunch of, you know, cannibals, whatever, towards the enemy. There was going to be a massacre as far as they were concerned. It was for the other team. Everybody in my team was dead except me. And I watched my guys coming back because I decided to hang back and guard the flag. And one guy had like 10 paintball pellets all over his body, and you know, everyone guy's been shot. And said, oh yeah, we're getting wiped out. So I'm sitting there looking around like, I got to defend the flag. So what I ended up doing was hunkered down, sort of sat against a tree, and I just sort of laid up against it, pointing my little pistol at our flag and not moving. The guys just ran up, looked around, saw no one was there, went to grab the flag, and I pulled the trigger and I shot him. And I shot him right in the chest. And he went like, oh damn! And then he walked away. Another guy came up, and they looked around and they didn't see nothing. I shot him, and it's like I was very carefully racking the paintball pistol so not to make too much noise, and shot the next guy, and same thing, shot the third guy, but then somebody saw where I was, and I died in a hail of paintball pellets. But at least, you know, it was 3-1 for me. Motorcycle racers do not take instructions very well, as far as I'm concerned. You tell them not to do something, it's almost like a guarantee you know they're going to do it. And like, our guys just kept running forward. A few guys would clue in, but most of the time our guys were getting slaughtered. I got tired of guarding the flag, so I went forward with the guys and came around a slight bend in the valley, and there was like 6 of them, of the other guys in the team, looking at me, and I looked at them. I fired one shot at one guy, then turned around and tried to run for my life, and I ended up stepping in a hole in the ground because this was a natural valley, and I twisted my ankle, and I mean twisted my ankle horribly. And so then I was like almost completely immobile, and I had to take a time out for one game while I went up, and I was wearing boots, and I basically laced the boot up really tight to keep my ankle braced, because the thing was, racers is we don't give up. So I went back out for the next game, and the next game I decided to lay down a bunch of pile of fallen logs and sort of guard the flag. And same thing as what happened in the first game. I got about 4 or 5 of them before they found out where I was, and one of the guys actually shot me right, and the pellet came in and literally hit me in the nose, and all I saw was yellow, because it basically hit me in the nose, and then it exploded, and all my safety glasses were yellow. And of course the ref stopped everything dead, because it was a no-no to shoot somebody in the face. And so they stopped everything so I could clean my glasses and see. And he says, "You okay? You want to continue?" I go like, "What's the point? There's like 5 of them left in me. It's like it's going to be, you know, I'll just get shot again, maybe not in the face this time." So anyways, you know, we played a whole bunch of games that day. It's all a blur. But I ended up, my ankle was so bad, I had to go to the hospital and have it looked at. And the doctor said, yeah, it was sprained. It was about the size of a grapefruit, my ankle, and the swelling was halfway down my foot. And the doctor looked at it and said, I would have done less damage if I actually had broken my ankle instead of sprained it. That's how bad it was. And he warned me that my ankle for the rest of my life, because of the damage, was going to be a little bit tender and tipsy. And he is right. Like, years later, it's, you know, if I step on a stone, not flat-footed, I can actually feel the ankle start to roll. So it's just something, you know. I got injuries from racing, and then I got called on the paintball game and got turned into Chester from Gunsmoke. So anyways, we did learn a lesson. Most of the guys never went back to paintball. We had one guy became a psycho at it. Almost, it was like watching the Terminator go through it. But he was the exception. The most of us said, nah, we'll stick to racing. It's safer. You don't have to end up cleaning yellow paint off all your clothes. So anyways, that's a little story what happens when racers get together. Hope you enjoyed it. Deathstalker signing out.